Hello my lovelies. This is like the 4th time I have tried to film this intro. Hi, hello. welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you click the subscribe button and stayed for a while. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. Okay, number one, my husband is mulching some leaves. We have so many leaves everywhere. I'll post a picture here of my girls playing in leaves. So he's mulching them and that's what that noise is in case you can hear it. So apologies in advance. But now to this video. As you can see, my Pat McGrath order is finally here. Finally. It's been a journey and I have a bone to pick with Miss Pat McGrath because it's just, yeah, a little frustrating. I'm probably the last person to finally put up a review on this, but I did buy 2 of the quints and 1 of the cheek trios, and I really do want to play with it, test it out, and just show you different eye looks that I can create and just what my thoughts are in general of this collection. Well, let's go ahead and get started with this video. All right, my lovelies, so this Bijoux Brilliance holiday collection from Miss Pat McGrath. It's a huge one. It's a huge collection. 2 eye and face palette 9-pan eyeshadows and 2 blushes in those palettes. 4 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. 3 different colorways for the cheek trio that has a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. Some colored mascaras, which I have not bought a colored mascara in like 2 years or longer. Just not my jam anymore. And I think that's it. I think that's all that came in this whole collection. I'm not going to lie. At first, it kind of looked like a Bridgerton collection. My theory, and I have heard a couple of other people talk about this theory, is that this was going to be a Bridgerton collaboration, but because of the strike, instead she just released it as her holiday collection. A theory, could be correct, could be not correct. So I don't know if we're still getting a Bridgerton 3. I only picked up the 5-pan duo because it was cheaper to pick up 2 for $62, and a cheek trio, the medium one, because I don't own any of the shades from the medium. So I don't have the bronzer shade, the highlighter shade, nor the blush shade. My total, I think, came out to like 109, maybe a little bit more. And then I did get the 10% discount. I don't think that code is available anymore because I'm so late with this review. And yeah, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to feature all 3 in this video or if I'm just going to do one of the quints and the cheek palette, and then in the second video do the other quint and the cheek palette as well. I don't know, like, give me a couple of minutes to think about it, and then we'll get started with applications, swatches, talk, and all the good stuff that comes with a review. Okay, my lovelies, let me just show you real quick what I actually purchased, like which actual quints I purchased. First one is this one here, and as you can see, the bow is blue. Bijoux Brilliance eyeshadow palette in Lunar Nightshade, which is the one that has that pretty blue in it, and the box does match the actual palette itself with the blue. 12-month shelf life, and it was made in Italia. And here is that color story. Very, very pretty. As you could see, it looks like there's only 1 satin matte right here. Everything else is like a shimmer shade. Those individually retail for $36, but I went ahead and purchased a dual because it would save me some money. I think 62 or whatever price I said. Okay, and then here is the other one, and as you can tell, the bow is purple on this one. This is the Bijoux Brilliance eyeshadow palette in Boudeaux Bliss. Here it is. And then this is what the back looks like, and this is a sticker. Let me show you the colorway. And this is the one, are they all? I think it's the one where they're all shimmers. Pretty. And then last but not least, the cheek trio. And the box does match the actual palette itself. 18-month shelf life and also made in Italia. The difference though is that this is not a rectangle. It does have a different shape to it. And here is the trio. So she came out with 3 different colorways. This is the medium one, the one in the middle. I already have, I think, the bronzer from the first one. So I decided to go for this one. And I feel like I can make it work. Nirvana in Bloom. So the bronze is the Bronze Nirvana. Sunset Bloom is the name of the blush. I don't own that in an individual. And Lotus Nectar is the name of the highlight. I'm pretty sure I don't own that in a highlighter. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, enough chit-chatting because I'm sure you are so over this collection, but I need to play. Let me get some eye primer on and we'll get started with an eye look and then the rest of the face. All right, my lovelies, as you could see, face is already done. The only thing I have is my base and powder. So the Lancome Teint Idole Care Glow, I think, the one with the white cap, I have that foundation on in 335W. The Makeup Forever New HD Skin Concealer. I forget what shade, but I'll make sure to link the exact shade down below. And then the Huda Beauty pressed powder for my under eyes, the Huda Beauty loose powder for the perimeters of my face, and then the RCMA pressed powder for my T-zone. I know I used 3 powders today. Okay, so I do have some lashes on. They're the little velour at home kit for lash extensions. I honestly just wanted to see, because sometimes I'm lazy with my mascara. And yeah, I actually like them. Super easy to use. We're going to start with this palette here, which is the Boudeaux Bliss, which is the one that has that pretty, like, dark purple shade. Like a midnight kind of dark purple shade. I'm going to first jump in to this shade here. Mauve Mystique, is that? Yes, I think that's it. This is a Rephr 01. NARS Eye Base is what I have to prime my eyes. So I'm going to use this as a transition shade. And it looks like it's one of the satin kind of glowy shades, which you can use on your crease if you don't mind a tiny bit of sheen on your crease. I personally don't. And I'm just going to use this as a, like I said, transition shade. Okay, that's what that shade is looking like. You do not have to stick to this palette. Say this color story calls to you, but you hate it that there's no transition shade, pull out another palette and use it. I do have here a quad from Pat McGrath. It is the Venusian Sunrise, and I'm going to jump in a tiny bit into this light shade right here. I do have the all matte palette from Pat McGrath. I don't know where it's at. I can't find it. So I'm going to use this one. This is a little Charlotte Tilbury fluffy brush. Just a tiny bit. I'm going to use that to blend out the outer edges of this shade. I know there are some people that need a sort of transition shade, especially one that's matte, because this one is a pretty satin, sheeny kind of shade. And you know, there are some people that just don't like sheen on their crease, and it's totally okay. Just pull out another palette and mix it up. You do not have to stick to this palette, especially if you really enjoy this color story, you know? Okay, now I'm going to jump into the pretty dark shade. Oh my gosh. I can see my cat out the window. He's loving life here in Utah. Okay, and I think that is Ruby Noir. So I guess it's a black. This is the Sigma E45, and it is a shade that has glitter or sheen in it. I'm pretty sure this is the palette that all the shades are like some sort of glitter sheeny. No mattes in this quint. But I'm dipping very lightly, and it's going to go in the outer corner. So far, these shades are performing beautifully. I do have 2 of the Star Wars quints in this formula and 1 from one of her holiday releases. And I do feel like this formula in these quints is a pretty nice one. I'm not going to put too much because I don't want this eye look to be super dark. But it does have glitter particles. So if you don't want any fallout, maybe do your eyes first. Tiny bit down here. Okay, this is what we got so far. I'm not going to lie, but she made it seem like this black shade, Ruby Noir, was more special than it actually is. It honestly is just a black with some shimmer particles in it. It's not, to me, it's not special at all. Okay, now I'm going to jump into, no, just kidding, this shade right here. That would be probably Cosmic Garnet. Yeah, because the other one is Platinum Rose Water. This one feels very soft. It's gonna go right here next to the black in the outer corner. Okay. FYI, I did go into NYX Glitter Glue. I think I forgot to mention that. Now we're gonna jump into the middle shade, which is Naked Sunset. And it looks like I'm probably gonna use all 5 shades, which is great. This is gonna go in the front. So far, this Quint color story is not really impressing me. Next time I pick this Quint up, more than likely I will be using it with another palette. Okay, that's what we got. Now, this looks beautiful. It truly does. And I feel like with Pat McGrath, doesn't matter whether you're a fan of the color story or not, your eye look is going to look absolutely gorgeous, especially when it's one of her really good formulas like this one. So if any of the color stories of these Quints call to you, I think it's a good way to go. $39 versus $129 for her big palettes. That's a good deal. Okay, I'm going to jump into the very last shade, which I said was called Platinum Rose Water. I'm going to put that in the inner corner. This is the shader crease brush from the Samantha Ravindal and Sigma collaboration. Okay, let me go ahead and do my eyebrows, and then I'll be back and we'll use the cheek trio. And I think I'll do a couple of comparisons with this Quint and also with the cheek trio. All right, so here is the full completed eye look. I did put just a tiny bit of mascara on my lower lashes. Does this eye look very beautiful? Yes, it sure is, but just not my favorite color story. Let's go ahead and swatch these. So I'm gonna start with this shade. These are all feeling very soft. Even this black one is feeling very, very soft. I'm in my hoodie, apologies. Okay, last 2 shades. So this one here is the one that's the least soft out of all of them. Here, my kiddos. Ooh, but its swatch is very, very nice. I mean, swatch wise, it looks like a very beautiful color story, but if they were up to me, I would take this shade out and replace it with something else. But I'm not a huge fan of black, so that's probably why. But that looks very, very pretty. Okay, now the cheek trio. So we're gonna start with the bronzer, which I think it should be able to work. What did I say? Nirvana? Bronze Nirvana. I'll pull out my bronzer and compare. This is the MAC 137S brush. It's like a fluffy, long bronzer brush. And as you can see, I don't have any cream products layered underneath. I wanted to see this in its true form without any help. I would say this one's a tiny bit more on the yellow orangey side, but it's working for me, which is great. Okay, that looks very pretty, natural. I'm sure if I use one of my Sonia G brushes, I forget what it's called, one of the newest ones that she launched, which really does pick up pigment, I could build it up a tiny bit more, but this MAC brush is pretty fluffy and it just gives you a little bit more of this soft aired out application. Okay, now we're going to jump into the blush, and as you could see, it's a tiny bit on the sheeny side, I don't know if this is a new shade, but I personally do not own this shade, Sunset Bloom. That is the only reason why I purchased this. None of these shades I have in my collection. And if all of these work really well for me, then it's a win, because it's nice to have these 3 products in just one palette, especially when the whole palette works for you. Okay, I'm gonna use my Sonia G Soft Cheek, which is my favorite blush brush. And I'm not going to lie, this shade looks like a couple of the shades I already have in my collection, and I'll probably do a couple of comparisons, because at the end of the day, they'll probably look pretty similar on the cheek. But this is pretty. Ooh, very pretty. Definitely looks peachy toned. Okay, now for the highlighter. It looks like it has like a golden peachy undertone, so hopefully it works for me. This is the mini cheek from Sonia G, and I'm going to tread softly. Ooh, so much for treading softly, that's a lot. Okay, I just hope it's not too dark for my complexion, you know? I don't think I see a cast. I do enjoy this formula from Pat McGrath. I feel like it does a pretty good job at sinking into your skin. Okay, I think I can make, for sure, this highlighter work. I don't see a cast. Very pretty shade. I enjoy highlighters that have a peachy, slight pinky undertone, because they really do blend in to my skin pretty nicely. Okay, I'm gonna swatch these real quick. Start with the bronzer, the blush, and the highlighter. So the bronzer, the blush, and highlighter. Okay, I need to do my lips, but I just want to do some comparisons first real quick. I only have one shade of the bronzers that she has to offer, and this is in Bronze Dawn. This one's definitely more on the orange tone side and darker. I'll swatch Bronze Dawn next. Ooh, why does this feel more dry than that one? So I'll go ahead and swatch it next to the one from the palette, and it's right here. So not even close. I do really have to build this one up. And for the blushes, I have 2 here. Nude Venus and Nude Venus 2. This is Nude Venus.
Pretty close, right?
Nude Venus and Lotus something. Sunset Bloom, just kidding. Nude Venus and Sunset Bloom from the palette. Look similar, and on the cheek, they probably look like the same shade. Okay, Nude Venus 2. This one might be a tiny bit different, but I feel like once you actually put it on the cheek, you won't be able to tell too much of a difference. That's the thing with blushes, is on the cheeks, that's where if you can't see a difference, there's no point of having that many shades, you know? So Nude Venus 2, and the one from the palette. Very similar. Probably can't even tell the difference on the cheek. So do I need to have these 2 singles and this cheek palette? No, I don't. And the only highlight that I feel I can compare this to is this one. All the other ones I have are like icy peachy, not even close to looking like this one in the palette. Divine Rose is the shade. This is my absolute favorite highlighter from Pat McGrath. And as you could see, it's like the baked Jolie kind of formula. And I don't think it's even going to be close to looking like this. Yeah. So this one, it works for me, but I feel like just barely. Okay, so the 2 Star Wars, I have the R2-D2 and the Darth Vader one. None of those shades really felt comparable to the palette that I used today. What is it? Bijoux Bliss? Boudeaux Bliss. I did pull out This one from one of her launches. I honestly cannot remember what launch. The Nude Allure, and this one, I think the only comparable shade would be this shade here with maybe this one, but not exactly. This one's a tiny bit more on the pinky rosy side. And I feel this is like a true mauve color story. There it is. I love this one. And I also got a tiny bit of Divine Rose vibes. Maybe Divine Rose 2. Hold on, let me take out Divine Rose 2. Okay, I looked at Divine Rose, like I opened it up real quick, and no, the vibe is a tiny bit different. Well, maybe not too different. Maybe it could be like a cousin. Okay, yeah. Like if you take away these shades here, I feel like possibly maybe it could be the cousin or sister. Okay, good comparison. So I feel like if you have Divine Rose, you're not missing out. And I pulled out Divine Rose 2, but now I'm thinking maybe not. I think it's gonna be the same thing where the last 4 special shades, if those weren't in there. But this bright pink in here throws it off a tiny bit, right? A tiny bit. I think Divine Rose for sure is a tiny bit more of a better comparison than Divine Rose 2. I have a mess with my palettes here. Okay, let me get on a lip and I'll be back, give you some thoughts and whatnot. Okay, my lovelies. I went into Natasha Denona lip liner in L6 and the Little Rare Beauty lip oil in Hope. I don't think it goes 100% with the eye look, but okay, so here is the final makeup with these 2 items. The Quint in Boudeaux Bliss. Cute little palette, not my absolute favorite color story. I thought I was going to enjoy this more than I am. And honestly, I feel like this black in here, I could have done without. And this little cheek palette, every single shade in this palette works for me, which is absolutely fabulous. Then I don't feel like this palette was a waste of money, but I do feel like I probably could have skipped it. The Pat McGrath bronzer formula is not my absolute favorite. It's a really nice one, but it's not my absolute favorite. I'm just glad now that I have these 3 shades in this little palette that work for me so that I don't have to take out a product in each category. Like I could just take this out and use this. If you're somebody who doesn't have a big collection and has been wanting to try these 3 formulas, then I do feel it's a good value for you. Her blush and highlighter formula are fabulous, and I don't think you'll be disappointed quality-wise. You just gotta make sure all of the shades work for you. If not, then honestly, it's a waste of money. Overall, I think it went okay. I wasn't super impressed. I honestly feel like my excitement for this collection went away because of shipping. I mean, they sent out that email apologizing for the delays. But I ordered this on the 28th of September and I received it yesterday, which was the 20th of October. That is crazy. Just annoying, and I get it, I understand, but like I feel this has been an issue for Pat McGrath for quite some time, and you would think by now they would have figured it out. It's just a tiny bit frustrating, especially for me because I review makeup on my channel, you know, and I already know this video is not going to perform that great because you're already over it. You guys are already all over this new launch. It is what it is. I do feel like the quints that she has to offer are really nice alternative to the other palettes. Like say you don't have the $129 to buy a mothership palette. These little quints are really nice quality. I mean, look at this eye look. It's beautiful. Even though it's not my favorite color story, it is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I do feel like you won't be disappointed if you pick up either of these products. And in the next video, I will go ahead and use the other quint, create an eye look for you, and then use the cheek palette again. Find some comparisons, although I don't feel like I'll have too many since the color story is a tiny bit different than what I do own from Pat McGrath, but I feel like some of her holiday big, are they 18 pans? We might find some similar colors in there. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this first impressions / review of this Bijoux Brilliance holiday collection items. All right, my lovelies, well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea, especially if you're just watching this video just to support me because you just don't care about this launch anymore. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, all the comments, all the likes, views, my links to shop. It truly does mean the world to me. So with that being said, I would love it if you gave this video a big thumbs up, and I would also love it if you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye.